My name is Emma, and this is a story of how I learned to live again after my heart was broken. It is a story about love, pain, and finding myself when everything fell apart. I met Daniel when I was 23 years old. It was a cold morning in October, and I was working at a small coffee shop near the university. He came in every day at 8 o'clock, always ordering the same thing, black coffee and a blueberry muffin. At first, I did not notice him much. He was just another customer. But one day, he smiled at me and everything changed. His smile was warm and kind. It made my heart beat faster. "You have a beautiful smile," he said to me that day. I felt my face turn red. "Thank you," I said quietly. From that day, we talked every morning. He told me about his work as a teacher. I told him about my dreams of becoming a writer. The minutes we spent together became the best part of my day. After 2 weeks, he asked me to have dinner with him. I said yes immediately. That dinner changed my life. We talked for hours. We laughed together. We shared our stories, our fears, and our hopes. When he walked me home that night, he held my hand, and I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. We fell in love quickly. Daniel was everything I wanted. He was kind, smart, and funny. He made me feel special. He made me feel loved. Every day with him felt like a gift. We moved in together after 6 months. We found a small apartment with big windows that let in the morning sun. I loved waking up next to him. I loved making breakfast together. I loved our quiet evenings reading books on the couch. Life felt perfect. But slowly, things started to change. It happened so gradually that I did not notice it at first. Daniel started coming home late from work. He said he had more meetings, more papers to grade, more things to do. I believed him because I trusted him completely. He stopped asking about my day. When I tried to tell him about my writing, he looked at his phone instead of listening to me. When I cooked his favorite meals, he barely noticed. When I reached for his hand, he pulled away, saying he was tired. I told myself it was just stress. I told myself he was busy with work. I told myself things would get better soon. But deep inside, I felt something was wrong. I felt him moving away from me, like the ocean pulling back before a big wave. One night, I found him staring out the window with sad eyes. I walked up to him and put my hand on his shoulder. "Daniel, what's wrong?" I asked. "You seem so far away." He turned to look at me, and for a moment, I saw something in his eyes. Pain. Guilt. I could not tell. "Nothing is wrong," he said. "I'm just tired." But I knew it was not nothing. I knew something had changed between us. I just did not know what it was yet. The night that destroyed my world came in December. It was a Friday evening, and snow was falling outside. I had planned a special dinner for us. I wanted to remind him of the love we shared. I wanted to bring back the happiness we had lost. I cooked all his favorite foods. I lit candles. I wore the blue dress he loved. I waited for him to come home. He arrived at 9 o'clock, 3 hours late. He did not apologize. He barely looked at the dinner I had made. He just stood in the doorway, looking at me with empty eyes. "Emma, we need to talk," he said. Those 4 words made my heart stop. I knew what was coming. Somehow I knew. "Okay," I whispered. My hands were shaking. He sat down at the table but did not touch the food. I sat across from him, waiting for him to speak. The silence felt heavy, like a weight on my chest. "I don't love you anymore," he said finally. The words hit me like a knife to the heart. I could not breathe. I could not think. I just stared at him, hoping I had heard wrong. "What?" I said. My voice was so quiet I could barely hear it myself. "I'm sorry, Emma. I don't love you the way I used to. I don't feel the same anymore. I've tried to make myself feel it again, but I can't. It's over." Tears filled my eyes. "When did you stop loving me?" I asked. "When did I lose you?" He looked down at his hands. "I don't know. It happened slowly. One day I woke up, and the feeling was just gone." "Is there someone else?" I had to ask, even though I was afraid of the answer. He was quiet for a long time. Too long. Yes, he said finally. Her name is Sarah. She's a teacher at my school. I didn't plan for it to happen. It just did. I felt like the world was ending. The man I loved, the man I had given everything to, had fallen in love with someone else. And I had not even known. How long? I asked. Tears were running down my face now. 3 months, he said. 3 months. For 3 months, he had been lying to me. For 3 months, he had been loving someone else while I waited for him at home. For 3 months, I had been living in a lie. I need you to leave, I said. My voice was stronger now, even though my heart was breaking. Get your things and go. Tonight. He looked surprised, as if he had expected me to beg him to stay. But I had more dignity than that. I would not beg someone to love me. He packed his things in silence. It took him only an hour to pack up 3 years of our life together. When he was done, he stood at the door with his bags. I'm sorry, Emma, he said one more time. I did not answer. I just closed the door behind him and locked it. Then I fell to the floor and cried harder than I had ever cried in my life. The days after Daniel left were the darkest days of my life. I stopped going to work. I stopped eating. I stopped caring about anything. I just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering where everything had gone wrong. My best friend, Lisa, came to check on me. She found me in bed, still wearing the same clothes I had worn for 3 days. Emma, you have to get up, she said gently. She sat on the edge of my bed and held my hand. I know you're hurting, but you can't stay like this forever. I don't know how to move on, I told her. I gave him everything. I loved him with all my heart, and it wasn't enough. I wasn't enough. That's not true, Lisa said firmly. You are more than enough. He's the one who lost something precious. He's the one who will regret this. But her words did not help. I felt broken. I felt like a piece of me had died with our love. Lisa stayed with me that night, and the next night, and the night after that. She made me eat. She made me shower. She made me get out of bed. Slowly, very slowly, I started to function again. But the pain was always there. It was there when I woke up in the morning. It was there when I went to sleep at night. It was there in every moment in between. Everything reminded me of Daniel. The coffee shop where we met. The park where we used to walk. The songs we used to listen to together. The apartment we had shared. Everything was a memory, and every memory hurt. I cried every day. Sometimes I cried in the shower where no one could hear me. Sometimes I cried at night when I was alone. Sometimes I cried in the middle of the day for no reason at all. The tears just came, and I could not stop them. One day, I saw Daniel and Sarah together at a restaurant. They were laughing and holding hands. They looked happy. They looked the way Daniel and I used to look. Seeing them together felt like dying all over again. I ran home and cried until I had no tears left. That night, I realized something important. I realized that Daniel was not thinking about me at all. He had moved on. He was happy with someone new. And I was still here, trapped in the past, unable to let go. My mother came to visit me one weekend. She found me sitting on the couch, looking at old photos of Daniel and me. There were tears on my face again. She sat next to me and put her arm around me. "My sweet girl," she said softly, "you have been carrying this pain for too long. It's time to let go." "I don't know how," I said. "How do you stop loving someone? How do you forget all the memories?" "You don't forget," she said. "You never forget, but you do learn to carry the memories differently. Right now, they feel heavy because you're holding on to them so tightly. You're holding on to who he was, to who you were together. But that person is gone. That relationship is over. You need to accept that and let it go." "But I loved him so much," I said. "I still love him." "I know you do," my mother said. "And that's okay. Love doesn't disappear just because someone leaves. But you have to love yourself more than you love him. You have to choose yourself, Emma. You have to choose to live again. Her words stayed with me. That night, I thought about what she had said. I thought about the last few months. I thought about how much time I had wasted crying over someone who did not love me anymore. I thought about how I had stopped living my own life. I made a decision that night. I decided to let go. Not because it was easy, not because I was ready, but because I had to. Because holding on was killing me slowly. The next morning, I did something I had been avoiding. I packed away all of Daniel's things that he had left behind. His old sweater, the books he had given me, the photos of us together. I put them all in a box and closed it. I put the box in the back of my closet where I could not see it. Then I took down all the pictures of us from the walls. I changed the furniture in the apartment. I painted the bedroom a new color. I bought new sheets, new curtains, new pillows. I needed the apartment to feel different. I needed it to feel like mine, not ours. It was hard. Every item I packed away felt like saying goodbye again. But I knew I had to do it. I had to create a space where I could heal. I started writing again. Not about Daniel, not about our love story, but about me, about my pain, about my journey. I wrote every day, pouring all my feelings onto the page. Writing became my therapy. It helped me understand my emotions. It helped me process the loss. I also started taking long walks every evening. I walked through the city, seeing places I had never noticed before. I walked in the park, watching the seasons change. I walked until my legs were tired and my mind was quiet. Walking helped me clear my head. It helped me feel present in my life again. Slowly, day by day, I started to feel a little bit better. The pain was still there, but it was not as sharp. The tears still came, but not as often. I was learning to live with the emptiness, to accept that it was part of me now. 3 months after Daniel left, I made another important decision. I quit my job at the coffee shop. I had been working there for 4 years, and it felt like the right time for a change. I needed to do something new. I needed to challenge myself. I started applying for writing jobs. I sent my articles to magazines and websites. I went to interviews. And finally, I got a job as a content writer for a small publishing company. It was not my dream job, but it was a start. It was something new, something that was completely mine. On my first day at the new job, I met a woman named Rachel. She was funny and warm, and she made me feel welcome immediately. We became friends quickly. Rachel did not know about Daniel. She did not know about my broken heart. To her, I was just Emma, the new writer. And I liked that. I liked having someone who saw me as a complete person, not as someone who had been broken by love. Rachel invited me to join a book club with her friends. At first, I said no. I was not ready to meet new people. I was not ready to pretend to be happy. But Rachel insisted, and finally I agreed. The book club met every Thursday evening at a small cafe. There were 6 women in the group, all different ages, all with different stories. We talked about books, but we also talked about life, about dreams, about struggles. These women were kind and supportive. They made me laugh. They made me feel less alone. I did not tell them about Daniel right away. But one evening, after we had finished discussing the book, one of the women, Margaret, shared her story. She talked about how her husband had left her after 20 years of marriage. She talked about the pain, the anger, the slow process of healing. It took me 2 years to feel like myself again, Margaret said. 2 years to stop thinking about him every day. 2 years to realize that his leaving was not about me. It was about him, about his choices, about his unhappiness. I did not cause it, and I could not fix it. Her words touched me deeply. After the meeting, I stayed behind and talked to Margaret. I told her about Daniel. I told her about the night he left. I told her about how lost I had felt. Margaret listened carefully. Then she said something I will never forget. The day he stopped loving you was not the worst day of your life, she said. It felt like it at the time. But one day, you will look back and realize that it was the day your real life began. Because now you have the chance to discover who you are without him. You have the chance to build a life that is truly yours. Her words gave me hope. For the first time in months, I felt like maybe, just maybe I would be okay. 6 months after Daniel left, something unexpected happened. I was walking through the park on a Saturday afternoon when I heard someone call my name. Emma, is that you? I turned around and saw Tom, an old friend from university. We had been close during our college years, but had lost touch after graduation. Tom, I said, surprised and happy to see him. What are you doing here? I just moved back to the city, he said with a big smile. I've been living abroad for the past 5 years. What about you? What have you been up to? We decided to get coffee and catch up. We talked for 3 hours. Tom told me about his adventures, traveling around the world. He told me about the different countries he had lived in, the different jobs he had done, the different people he had met. His stories were fascinating. He asked about my life, and I told him about my writing job. I did not mention Daniel. I did not want to bring that sadness into this happy reunion. Before we left, Tom asked if we could meet again. It's so good to see you, Emma, he said. I've missed our friendship. Let's not lose touch again. I agreed, and we exchanged phone numbers. Over the next few weeks, Tom and I met several times. We went to museums, to concerts, to new restaurants. We talked and laughed and shared stories. Being with Tom felt easy and natural. He made me feel like the old Emma, the Emma from before Daniel, the Emma who was happy and full of life. One evening, Tom and I were walking by the river. The sun was setting, painting the sky in beautiful colors. Tom stopped walking and turned to look at me. Emma, can I ask you something? He said. He looked nervous. Of course, I said. Why do you sometimes look so sad? He asked. Even when you're smiling, I can see sadness in your eyes. What happened? I had been avoiding this conversation, but I knew I could not hide it forever. So I told him about Daniel. I told him the whole story. Tom listened without interrupting, and when I finished, he was quiet for a moment. I'm sorry you went through that, he said finally. No one deserves that kind of pain. But I want you to know something. That man was a fool. He had something precious, and he threw it away. You are an amazing person, Emma. You're smart, talented, kind, and beautiful. Don't let his mistake make you forget your worth. His words made me cry, but they were good tears this time. They were tears of release, of gratitude, of healing. Thank you, I said. I needed to hear that. Tom hugged me, and for the first time in months I felt safe. I felt understood. I felt like I was not alone in my pain. As spring arrived, I noticed something had changed inside me. I no longer thought about Daniel every minute of every day. Sometimes, whole hours would pass without him crossing my mind. The pain was still there, but it had become softer, quieter, like an old scar instead of a fresh wound. I was writing more than ever. I had started working on a novel, a story about a woman who rebuilds her life after loss. Writing the novel helped me process my own journey. It helped me see how far I had come. My friendship with Tom continued to grow. We spent more and more time together. He was always there when I needed someone to talk to. He celebrated my small victories. He supported me through my bad days. Slowly, I started to realize that I was developing feelings for him. But I was afraid. I was afraid of getting hurt again. I was afraid of opening my heart to someone new. One night, Tom and I were having dinner at my apartment. I had cooked pasta, and we were drinking wine and talking about everything and nothing. At one point, Tom looked at me with serious eyes. Emma, I need to tell you something, he said. I've been wanting to say this for a while, but I was waiting for the right moment. My heart started beating faster. What is it? I asked. I have feelings for you, he said. Real feelings. I think I've had them since we reconnected. Maybe even since university, if I'm honest. I know you've been hurt. I know you're still healing. And I don't want to rush you into anything. But I needed you to know how I feel. I care about you, Emma. A lot. I did not know what to say. Part of me wanted to run away, to protect my heart. But another part of me, a stronger part, wanted to be brave. Wanted to take a chance. Wanted to open my heart again. Tom, I started, but he stopped me. You don't have to say anything right now, he said gently. Take your time. Think about it. I'll wait. I'm not going anywhere. That night, after Tom left, I lay in bed thinking about his words. I thought about how kind he was, how patient, how understanding. I thought about how he made me laugh, how safe I felt with him, how he had helped me heal without even knowing it. And I realized something important. I realized that my heart had been healing all along. I realized that I was ready to try again. Not because I had forgotten Daniel. Not because the pain was completely gone. But because I had learned something valuable from my heartbreak. I had learned that I was strong. I had learned that I could survive loss. I had learned that my happiness did not depend on someone else loving me. It depended on me loving myself. A week after Tom's confession, I asked him to meet me at the park. It was a beautiful spring day. The trees were blooming, and the air smelled like fresh flowers. We sat on a bench by the lake, and I took a deep breath. Tom, I've thought a lot about what you said, I began. And I need to be honest with you. I do have feelings for you. I think I've had them for a while too. But I'm scared. I'm scared of getting hurt again. I'm scared of losing myself in another person. I'm scared of forgetting the lessons I've learned. Tom took my hand. I understand, he said. And I would never ask you to lose yourself for me. I don't want you to be with me because you need someone. I want you to be with me because you choose to be, because you want to be. And if you're not ready yet, that's okay too. His words made me smile. This was different from what I had with Daniel. With Daniel, I had needed him to feel complete. I had needed his love to feel worthy. But with Tom, it was different. I did not need him. I wanted him. And that made all the difference. I choose you, I said. But more importantly, I choose me. I choose to be brave. I choose to trust again. I choose to let love in, even though I know it might hurt. Because the pain of closing my heart is worse than the risk of opening it. Tom smiled, and then he kissed me. It was a soft, gentle kiss full of promise and hope. And in that moment, I knew I had finally let go of Daniel. I knew I had finally moved forward. It has been a year since that day in the park. A year since I chose to open my heart again. A year since I started my journey toward healing. My relationship with Tom is wonderful. We are partners in the truest sense. We support each other's dreams. We give each other space to grow. We communicate honestly. We face problems together. It is a healthy, balanced love, the kind of love I did not even know was possible. But more important than my relationship with Tom is my relationship with myself. I have learned to be happy alone. I have learned to enjoy my own company. I have learned that my worth does not come from being loved by someone else. It comes from loving myself. I finished writing my novel. It is being published next month. It is called The Day Everything Changed. It is my story, but it is also the story of every person who has ever had their heart broken and found the courage to heal. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about Daniel. I wonder if he is happy. I wonder if he ever thinks about me. I wonder if he regrets leaving. But these thoughts do not hurt anymore. They are just questions without answers, and I have made peace with not knowing. I saw Daniel one last time, about 3 months ago. It was at a bookstore. He was alone, looking at books in the fiction section. For a moment, I considered leaving before he saw me. But then I decided to be brave. "Hello, Daniel," I said. He turned around, and his face showed surprise. "Emma," he said. "Hi. How are you?" "I'm good," I said. And I meant it. Really good, actually. We talked for a few minutes. It was polite and distant, like talking to a stranger. Because that is what he was now. A stranger who used to know me. A stranger who used to love me. A stranger who taught me painful but important lessons. As I walked away from him that day, I felt a sense of peace. I felt grateful, not for the pain he caused, but for the strength I found because of it. If I could go back and talk to the Emma who cried on the floor the night Daniel left, this is what I would tell her. I know you think you will never be happy again. I know you think your life is over. I know you think you will never stop loving him. But you are wrong. You will be happy again. You will laugh again. You will love again. You will wake up one morning and realize that you did not think about him at all the day before. You will realize that you are okay. More than okay. You will realize that you are thriving. The day he stopped loving you was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where you are the hero. A chapter where you save yourself. A chapter where you learn that the most important love is the love you have for yourself. You will survive this. You will grow from this. You will become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. You will learn to set boundaries. You will learn to recognize your worth. You will learn that you deserve someone who chooses you every single day, not someone who gives up when things get hard. So cry your tears. Feel your pain. Grieve the loss. But do not stay there forever. Do not let his leaving define you. Do not let his mistake convince you that you are not enough. Because you are enough. You have always been enough. You just needed to believe it yourself. The day he stopped loving you was painful. But the day you started loving yourself again, that will be the most beautiful day of your life. Today I am 30 years old. It has been 4 years since Daniel left. 4 years since my world fell apart. 4 years since I thought my life was over. But my life was not over. It was just beginning. I am happy now. Truly happy. Not because I have a wonderful partner, though I do. Not because my career is going well, though it is. But because I have learned the most important lesson of all. I have learned that I do not need someone else to complete me. I am already complete. I have learned that heartbreak does not destroy you. It changes you. It makes you stronger, deeper, more empathetic. I have learned that letting go is not giving up. It is choosing yourself. It is choosing peace. It is choosing to live fully, even after loss. The day Daniel stopped loving me felt like the worst day of my life. But looking back now, I see it differently. That day was a gift. It was the day I started finding myself. It was the day I started my journey toward becoming the woman I am today. And this woman, she is strong. She is brave. She is whole. She is loved. But most importantly, she loves herself. And that makes all the difference.